Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the class BMN 504. Today's date is May 2nd, 2022. Today is the midterm examination day, as I announced you last week. So we will spend some time to do the little bit of review of what we did over the last 4 weeks, and then you will get the midterm test via email. So as you are used to, please answer the questions and email back to me so I can grade you. So in this class, we were looking at the foundations of Buddhist thought. We are in the middle of the class. So for the last 4 weeks, we have been discussing and we were looking at, initially, we were looking at how Buddhism came into existence. We saw that Buddhism arose in such a society that many divisions were there in the society. Divisions in the sense that people were looking for a solace, a relief from various things. Some people were looking for some relief, liberation, salvation, solution to the problem of existence. When I use the word existence, it is nothing else but, according to Buddhist teaching, like the suffering. People are dissatisfied. People were actually at that time, during the Buddha's time, in the 6th century BCE, in the Indian society, people were dissatisfied and they were looking for something, the lasting solution, some lasting solution for the big issue of getting rid of suffering, getting rid of dissatisfaction. So they found different methods of, they followed different techniques of achieving that status. Give me 1 second. So in that society, in such a scenario, the Siddhartha Gautama, or the Buddha to be, he also, we saw that in his life story, that he left the palace. He left all kinds of luxuries in his life in order to become a mendicant. Mendicant means a person who is looking for truth, who is devoted to giving pain to his body, giving hardships to his body. And through that means, he was looking for lasting solution for the issue, big issue. Big issue is suffering. So we saw he spent like 6 long years doing many things to find the solution, but ultimately he followed the middle path. We saw it, middle path, and he was able to reach a certain status goal, as we name it today, enlightenment or nibbana. So nibbana is nothing else, and in other class also I mentioned that nibbana is nothing else, nirvana or the enlightenment is nothing else, is a state of mind that you can achieve, that you can attain in this very life, not in your next life. In that sense, Buddhism has a unique status among the other religions. All the other religions, I'm not criticizing any other religion, but when you look at them, you see that your final release, your final salvation is not in this very life, but after this life. Going to heaven or, reuniting with the God or whatever, that will happen in the next life, not in this life. But in Buddhism, the uniqueness is that nirvana is not something happening in your next life, right here, right now, in this very life. That is the Buddha's unique discovery. So it is not a another city or another realm. It is a state of mind that you develop, that you attain in this very life. So at the age of 35, what Buddha did was, he was able to reach that mindset, that state of mind, which is called Nibbana. And by attaining that level, he was able to, even though he was living in this very society, he was able to be not dissatisfied with the things happening in the world. He was looking for a solution for the suffering or dissatisfaction, and then by attaining that state of mind, in other words, by attaining enlightenment, he was able to live in this very same suffering full life. In this very same existence, he was able to remain satisfied, not dissatisfied. I hope you understand what I mean. He was able to remain in this very world without getting upset. I told you the other day the analogy that Buddhism uses is the lotus flower comes out of mud. Mud is the base for the ground for the lotus flower. Without mud, there won't be a lotus. So Buddha is like a lotus. He lives in this very same world where all kinds of sufferings and bad negativities are, but still he does not be, he is not troubled by all those negative things in the world. He is just like a lotus without touching the mud and the water, comes out of the pond and blooms in the society. In the lake, of course, but in terms of Buddha, in the society, he blooms like a flower. So this type of analogy. So that is nirvana. Nirvana is not something that you attain in the next life, but in this very life. So that is very important when you are talking about the Buddhist teachings. One thing that you need to understand very clearly, otherwise you may think that Buddhist salvation is attained in next life. No, Buddhist salvation is attained in this very life. So that I wanted to emphasize that fact. And so Buddhism arose in this type of with this type of ideology. Buddha wanted to deliver this message. In other words, he wanted to teach the people how to live in this very same world without running away from this world, but attaining the state of mind which is called Nibbana. For that, there is a long course of work, long method, techniques that you have to follow. That's why we Buddhists are following precepts and engage in meditations and all kinds of wholesome activities in order to be away from the suffering. That is the logic. So Buddhists, you have to be, you have to understand the background, the where Buddhism arose, what type of background it arose. When a lot of people were going after two extremes. Two extremes means one extreme at the time was to give enormous luxury to your body, to your life, enjoying the senses to the topmost level. That was one end. The other end was to giving excessive pain and suffering to your body, your life. In Siddhartha Gautama's life, we see both ends. When he was staying at the palace with the family and all those things, he was giving excessive pleasure, excessive comfort, luxury to his life. That's one end. And the other extreme was to give excessive pain. So he spent 6 years following that path. Finally, ultimately, he realized that these two ends are not the solution. You cannot reach the solution, salvation, or release from suffering by following these two ends. So he came to the conclusion that the end of suffering is in the middle. In the middle means following the middle path, middle way. That is the Buddhist background, where all the other Buddhist teachings are based on this thing. And then we were looking at one of the very important teachings of Buddhism, karma and rebirth. We saw that that is a defining factor. Karma is a defining factor for your next existence, next life. There is next life, rebirth, not reincarnation, rebirth. So for your rebirth, the karmas that you do in this life will help, will support. So in order to gain a good life, pleasurable life, happy life, the things that you do in this life helps. This is very easy to understand. How you live today will help you to define your life in next year, tomorrow, right? There is that logic. So if you follow the good course of actions in this moment, the next moment will be happier moment. That philosophy. So the karma, and the very important thing that we need to understand is that Buddhist karma, the teaching of Buddhist karma is not a theory of fatalism. Fatalism, you know the word fate, not faith, fate, F-A-T-E. Fate is like the destiny, right? And fatalism is, that big word is used to identify that everything happens according to what you have done in your past. Your destiny is predetermined by somebody. Your destiny is already designed by somebody. So the karma in India at that time, some teachers were teaching that everything happens according to your past karma. So you do not have any freedom to be away from the consequences of your past actions, past karmas. So the Buddha came up and said, no, that is wrong. There is some legitimacy, some weight in the saying that things will happen according to your karma, but everything does not happen according to karma. Huh? Everything does not happen according to karma. So in that sense, Buddhist teaching of karma is not a fatalism. Don't ever think that your fate is already designed. No, you are your own master. You can design your fate, your destiny. It is in your hand. Don't be, it is not governed by your past karma. Past karma could be changed with effort. With effort, you can change your karma. When we were talking about the Noble Eightfold Path, there was one limb, one step called right effort. Right effort. You remember that we saw there are 4 steps, right? Right effort. One of the effort is to stop whatever the bad things that you have done. You have to try to stop them. Stopping them means changing the karma, right? Whatever the good things that you have done, you have to strive to increase them. Let them increase. So that is karma. That is effort. That means you can change it. So in other words, according to Buddhist teaching, attaining the nirvana or enlightenment, or in other words, releasing from this suffering is changing your karma. I don't know whether you follow me, but try to follow this idea. If you are attaining enlightenment, that means you are changing your karma. The effects of past karma you change. You can do it. We all can do it. That is Buddha's teaching. So in that sense, Buddhist karma, theory of Buddhist karma is not a fatalism. Karma could be changed with the effort of human. With the human effort, we can change our destiny. It is not written as in something written on stone, no. The karma theory, we looked at that teaching, and also we were looking at the Four Noble Truths. One of the core, as we saw, one of the core teachings of Buddhism. Whole Buddhism is there. The cause, the problem, cause of problem, answer, and how to reach that answer, how to attain that answer. Dukkha we call suffering, cause of suffering, tanha or thirst, and then release from suffering, nibbana, nirvana, and then how to, what is the path to reach that state of mind, path leading to the cessation of suffering. So Four Noble Truths, we were talking about those things. And then last week we were talking about the Noble Eightfold Path, right? We discussed it enough, I guess. Noble Eightfold Path. And these cardinal teachings, the very basic, important teachings of Buddhism. And there are more to come in the coming weeks. But today, up to now, we have been looking at these major teachings of Buddhism. So remember, karma and rebirth, and Four Noble Truths, and what is the other one? Noble Eightfold Path. Good chunk of Buddhist philosophy. So we were looking at those things, and your examination will be based on the teachings that we covered in this class so far. So please answer the question. Those questions are not multiple questions. You have to write your answers. You have to discuss it, because this is master's class. discuss it in a little great detail, explain the things clearly, and then as I've been telling you all the time, please submit your answers to my email with your name written there. You have to, on top, you have to put your name. Please submit your work in Microsoft Word. It is easy to follow that way. So please follow the instructions and submit your answers within the next week, from today to next Monday, and then you will be okay. So I hope everything is clear, and if you have any question, please let me know. We move on with the exam, and you will get the exam today in your email. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. Good luck with the midterm.